Hey, Real Nerds listeners, your favorite host Ryan here to remind you that social media is great. How great is it? There's many ways you can find the Real Nerds on social media. You can download us on iTunes. You can listen to us streaming on Stitcher Radio. You can call us 720-6nerds5. Aw man, our website is so cool. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You want to leave some fan mail? Oh, that's so easy, realnerds@gmail.com. Twitter? We got it, @real_nerds. You can even like us on Facebook. Thank you so much, and hey, enjoy the show. Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic-Con. I am Ryan. Brad is sick this week, so I am joined just by James. James, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. We're not just alone, though. We got a little Kellen laying here on the floor playing with his book.
Yeah, he likes to read that book. In it, there is an alligator that visits, let's see, a lion and a school bus.
Oh, my goodness. Alligator on a school bus. It's adorable.
But I'm guessing that, Brad finally showed Jean-Claude Van Damme's Van the last time, and the sickness that's probably been brewing in him's like, oh, he can relax? Fuck him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure it all finally caught up.
And if you're wondering where you can finally see Jean-Claude Van Damme's Damn Van, you can go on Vimeo and search Nebulous Visions or Jean-Claude Van Damme's Damn Van, and you can watch it for free. Or go to Funny or Die and vote for it to be funny so it can live on in the interwebs.
It's good. It's really good.
It's just okay.
You should check it out.
It is just okay.
No, it's good.
Just kidding. It's good. He's not here to defend himself, so I'm going to pick on him.
This is true.
Every week at Real Nerds Podcast, we go see a new movie and we podcast our experience to the world. This week we saw Chappie. I am Chappie.
Chappie.
I am Chappie.
What is that name? Like, what is that word called? Like, I think a joke in the movie as if that's like a...
I think it's English slang for a friend, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Like a chap, I'm guessing.
Okay, sure. That sounds
I'm
good.
not English, so I don't know.
Okay.
I kind of swore off the English since 1776. Boom! No. American Revolution joke.
All right, cool.
So, of course, we start the new show usually with fan mail, but our fan mail is different now.
Okay.
Every week we get a new email from the Alamo Drafthouse in Denver to let you know what is playing at the Alamo Drafthouse this week.
Hi, I'm Mark Hamill. Welcome to the Alamo Drafthouse. In the new movie Kingsman, the Secret Service uses a variety of weapons to take care of problems. As Luke Skywalker, I only used one weapon. And as the voice of the Joker, I used total anarchy. But if you talk during a movie, I will unleash an entire Secret Service made up of insane clowns brandishing lightsabers, and I will have them completely destroy you. So shh. And no texting. Enjoy the show.
This week's a fun week, man.
Yeah.
So Loins on Fire continues a little bit later. It's next week, but it's The Notebook is the next one.
Cool.
That's the 26th. Remember, I think that's the last one. So bring your card, get it punched. You get a free ticket to see his new one. I always forget the name of the new one. I don't know why.
It's the one with the people and they fall in love, and then he rides on a cow, like on bulls.
Yep.
And then he's like, I can't give up bull riding. Not even for my love.
Here's the thing. I love the people at... Oh, yeah, that is that one.
Yeah.
I love the people at the Alamo. They're the nicest people.
Mm-hmm.
And Alexandra, who mentioned this to us originally, said, hey, if you want 2 free tickets to see this movie, I'll give them to you. And I have not said I want them. Is that bad? Or it's just... It's not her. If James, if you want to claim them, we do have 2 free tickets to go see the movie. If you want to take a date...
I wouldn't not see the movie. Does that make sense? Like,
or maybe give them to your parents. Maybe your parents would like a date.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
No, oh, your parents like cool movies.
They do.
So that wouldn't work.
My mom texted me this morning and was like, "Should we go see Chappie?" But I'm not going to tell you what I said.
Ooh.
Until we get to the review.
Yeah. So I should probably take him up on it. It's a free movie.
Yeah. Why not?
It could be worse. It could be Creature.
It could be Creature.
Brad's excited. Also, I think it's next Wednesday is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles all-you-can-eat pizza party. That's the 22nd. I'm not sure how many more tickets are available for that, but make sure you get them soon. The Ultimate 90s Sing-Along is the 28th. Mondo X, which kind of is a horror movie special they show. This week it's House on Haunted Hill.
I think there's some Mondo giveaways with that as well. I don't know if it's...
I didn't see in the email. I'm sure there is. Anytime you go to those movies,
Yeah.
I mean, the coolest thing I ever got going there is they did a Last Action Hero showing, and you actually got the gold ticket, and I got a sweet button that had Schwarzenegger from Hamlet on it. So that's on my messenger bag because I think it's so cool.
They when we went and saw Rian Johnson's Looper, Mondo had just released the soundtrack on like vinyl, and they had designed a vinyl cover that looks like the gold blocks underneath the canvas.
Oh,
so
cool.
It looked like the record was wrapped in canvas, and then you could see the gold blocks underneath. It was so cool.
Yeah, Mondo's cool.
Mondo stuff is awesome.
Also, Cinderella opens on Friday.
Cool.
But on Saturday, they're encouraging young ladies, or I guess men if you want, to wear their fanciest gown, and they're having a Cinderella royal ball included with the movie. Big is showing the 16th.
Hell yeah.
And The Fly is showing the 18th on 35 millimeter.
Oh, man.
So that's maybe Cronenberg's most famous movie.
Yeah, probably.
I'd say so. What I did mention on here, and if you want, you can see me.
The Thing.
On Friday the 13th,
No, that's Carpenter.
They're showing Friday the 13th with a Q&A with a screenwriter of Friday the 13th original, a craft dinner. I will be there seeing that film.
That's cool.
I think there's still some tickets available, but I would get them soon as the week goes on, and I'm guessing by Wednesday there won't be any more. Because one, Friday the 13th is popular. Having a Q&A with the writer of it, and it's a craft dinner, I'm guessing that it might go pretty fast once people start catching on.
It's funny, they're also doing a thing right now that I noticed last night, and I'm not sure if this is part of a series or what, but they're showing some like recent but older indie movies, so like indie movies from last year. So like they're showing big Short Term 12 again, which I don't know that they ever had it there, but you know, that was a movie from I think last year's Cannes Film Festival. Or Sundance, I should say. And then there was another one that I saw as well. So I don't know.
I know later in the month they're showing Under the Skin there.
Oh yeah, that's the other one. Yeah. So I don't know if that's part of like a series or a new thing they're moving forward with. We'll have to talk to Steve, but
it's cool.
and figure out. It's really neat.
And I would say Under the Skin was my 10th favorite film from last year.
Yeah.
So I would definitely go see it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I bought the Blu-ray and I'm going to watch it here at some point. But
yeah.
I also maybe I'll just go ahead and see it in theaters if it's worth sitting through.
It's great sitting through. I mean, it's not one of those movies that you have to see on the big screen.
No, I'm sure. But if
it's
I have
still
a
cool
chance,
that it's still cool that they do that.
Yeah.
You know, I am so excited. I have not been to the Alamo in like a month.
Yeah.
And it's been horrible. and I'm not saying that people in other movie theaters don't try. But there's something special about that theater.
I know my parents really want to go see The Second Best of Marigold Hotel, but it's not showing at the Alamo. And they texted me today. They were just like, we'd have to go like to the South Glen Theater, like, you know, or they're just trying to find they're trying to find one that's a little bit nicer than like an AMC, or at least their AMC.
Yeah, it's interesting though that Second Best Marigold is only in like 900 theaters, so it's kind of it's a wide release, but it's not a big release.
Yeah, it's too bad because like that first movie is more than what it seems like based on the trailers.
And I'll let you know something interesting. I was reading The Hollywood Reporter this morning, and that movie's overperforming.
Really?
So it's only in 900 theaters, but it's going to outgross Unfinished Business this week.
Wow.
They're projecting it to do like 8 million. Which, I mean, in 900 theaters, that's not bad.
Yeah, not at all.
So it does have a nice fan base.
That first movie did really well with people like my parents. And me. I really like that first one.
It's one of those movies, too. I'm pretty sure when Marigold came out, it did okay its first week, but it like never dropped. It was pretty much steady for 5 or 6 weeks.
It was a movie that people talked about for a little while.
And, you know, that's when you target older audiences, they're not going to rush out and see them.
No.
Speaking of which, too, if you want to see the Avengers at the Alamo, tickets went on sale this week, so make sure you get your tickets soon.
Oh man,
the Avengers,
we
Age of Ultron.
Do that.
Yeah, we do. I was holding out because for those of you who also don't know, we're approaching our 200th episode. Our 200th episode is Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So I'm still putting together. I want to kind of do something fun. Maybe we'll have another barbecue here or something, or maybe at your place because it's close to the theater.
Sure.
I know I haven't talked to you about it yet, but
Yeah, no,
it'd be fun
whatever.
to get people together and celebrate our 200th episode.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's a big achievement, and
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody who's helped us. You know, my wife, we have friends who've seen movies with us, people who've been on the show. Anybody who's been on the show can come.
Anybody who hasn't been on the show can come.
Yeah. Anybody who wants to do it. And I think if we can, get a lot of people to go see the movie like we did for the first Avengers and hang out, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that 3 years later, we're still doing it. We're still going strong. Haven't missed a week.
Uh-huh.
And Avengers has come back around.
Yeah.
And it's by far the coolest trailer of the year. So
There was a thing this week that somebody's doing like a full marathon of all of them, and that
Yeah,
all of the Avengers
AMC.
movies are like 29 hours long.
AMC, 29 hours.
I didn't realize that they could possibly be that long at this point. It doesn't seem like as many movies, but when you think about it, you're like, oh
Yeah.
shit! Like,
Well,
each one of them is 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, and if there's
Like,
11 of them,
Yeah,
there you go.
man.
I know it is. It's really fascinating to me
Yeah.
about how much,
How successful this has been, and
and how many movies there are now.
right.
Because I don't know if you remember when before Spider-Man was made, it went through so many writers and no one could get anything going. And because Batman and Robin came out in '98, basically killed the superhero genre.
Yeah,
And
arguably that series also started it, but
yeah, and you can
Yeah.
say that too, but it slowed it down. But then it was only 2 years later that Spider-Man came out.
right.
So it just took that a little push. X-Men and Spider-Man kind of,
Right.
and now here we are, where we're going to get 10, 12 superhero movies a year.
Right. Yeah. And
And
most of them are pretty good.
Yeah, it is interesting too. Reading for some reason, Hollywood wants to predict the demise of their own success, where they keep on saying that the superhero genre is going to be dead. But I was also thinking though that superheroes have been around since they've made movies. You can go
Right.
back to the Batman, Superman serials from the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
And you have superheroes, or you can even do the Lone Ranger. I could consider a superhero.
Yeah. I think that we will eventually get to a place where the movies they're making don't look the same and maybe they aren't connected to the ones we're working on now, or because at a certain point you don't have Robert Downey Jr. anymore. At a certain point you don't do Cap. I don't know that this continued universe is going to last forever.
I think Marvel's doing it right, though. Sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
I think they're slowly phasing people out. Not that you have to phase. I mean, I read an interview with Robert Downey Jr. He's like, if they're still going to pay me, I'll still do the movies.
Yeah.
And he's also Robert Downey Jr. took a huge pay cut to be in Civil War.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even supposed to do that movie, but he was so excited about the story that he decided he's like, I'll be a secondary character. I just want to be part of this movie.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
And you should. I mean, as long as he can still play. I mean, he's just going to turn 50. I mean, he's not that old.
Right.
And so I think he probably has about another 5 or 6 years, 4 or 5 more movies in him.
Yeah.
And he'll be okay.
I mean, yeah, as long as they can get through Phase 3. I think it's after the end of the Infinity War that's when you start going like, well, maybe the movies that you get each year, especially once they get this better handle on Spider-Man and some of that other stuff, start expanding out and doing some of those other characters and doing more TV shows. And I think it's just going to change the way it looks, but I don't think it's going to go away. I think that other companies are going to struggle. I think Marvel has built a company that is handling that growth really well. But DC, I saw an interview this week where the WB guy who's sort of overseeing DC was like, the DC movies is saying like, oh, well, these are going to be edgier than the Marvel movies. And I don't know that I've ever read an article from somebody or a review from somebody where they said like, oh man, I really wish that Avengers was edgier. No, they always walked out of it and was like, man, that was really fun.
Yeah, I think that's that's someone who doesn't understand superheroes, because you can the Spider-Man Raimi movies are not edgy at all, but are they the most fun superhero movies? I'd have an argument saying they are.
Yeah. Because
they're just fun.
And I think that there are some edgy things in those movies, but you look back at Winter Soldier, what that movie is really dealing with is it dark in tone? Not necessarily, but but the themes there are and the issues it's dealing with are.
And it's nothing new, but it's the past coming back to get you.
Yeah,
it's mistakes you've made in your life that are coming back. They didn't stop Hydra. Bucky's not dead, and it's
you've got somebody who's basically dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, and there's some really deep stuff in there. And so to sort of flippantly say something like, oh, they're not ours are going to be edgy. Well, edgy is not what I go to a movie for.
Yeah. You go for the story.
Right.
Why are the Batman Nolan successful? Because the story's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean,
It's
those are
not because, their voices are gravelly and they're like, oh, man, this is so edgy.
I would say in spite of their voices being gravelly.
Right. Yeah.
It just proved to you that this city has lots of good people in it. That's my Christian Bale as Batman.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Anyways, I also going to make one more announcement before we get into the show.
Sure.
The 20th of March doesn't look good for the real nerds. I'm being unfair. I haven't seen Insurgent, so I really shouldn't judge it.
True. Well, since we haven't seen the first one, it's kind of like...
Yeah, the second one's going to be harder to sit through.
Yeah.
And then the other movies that are opening, The Gunman, I don't want to see. Trying to make Sean Penn an action star.
I just don't like Sean Penn. Like, I don't like his
something
face.
about him just irritates me.
Yeah, it's pretty much all him as a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I'm
unfair.
usually one of those people that can get past that. But for some reason with Sean Penn, I can't do it.
Yeah, just look at his face and go like, I don't like you.
Yeah. And he's good in some movies, but
Yeah.
he's not someone I like seek out to see.
Right.
And
I actively avoid him for the most part.
But here's the thing: is you're like, oh, the real nerds are taking a week off?
No.
Fuck no. We never take weeks off. So we're going to do something fun that we haven't done in I think 2 years.
Yeah.
We're going to do a film explosion, but we're going to do a special film explosion. We're going to do a film explosion of 1985.
Yeah.
So we're going to do movies from 1985. We're going to reveal our top 10. It's going to be fun. It's going to be nostalgic. It's going to be change the format a little bit because one, I wanted to be fair to Insurgent. I really did because I don't think it's fair that I'm judging a movie I haven't seen, and I just wasn't tempted.
I also just didn't want to see it.
Yeah, and I mean, and I was tempted. I wasn't tempted by anything, and I want to give our fans something cool.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be cool if we take a year, which you say is arguably the greatest year in cinema.
It's yes, in the film community, it is commonly referred to as the greatest, especially for like fan films. Because there are a lot of movies that year where you look back and you go like, "Holy shit!"
I know, and it's I wasn't 100% sure. I remembered a lot of the movies, and I said, okay, we were talking about it last week. I said, well, I'm going to look on Box Office Mojo, and I'm going to see if, and yeah, there are so many movies on there, and there's so many like cult classics on there.
Yeah,
that it's going to be difficult. And I just wanted to give our fans a little idea of how movies have changed. So in 1985, 185 films were released into theaters. This past year, 2014, 693.
Wow.
Plus,
and that's into theaters. That's
yeah.
not counting all of the like shovel films that
or
go
yeah, like
straight
the
to
drive-in, grindhouse, whatever you want to call them.
Exactly, yeah.
And also, I wanted to point out the widest release is I can't remember the movie. It's not the highest movie of the year, but it's like 1,400 theaters. And
in 85, you mean?
In 85. So, and last year it was 4,055.
Wow.
So it's basically, everything is times 4 basically.
Man.
Since 1985. Even budgets, grosses. Because I think the highest grossing movie is like 185 million. And times have changed. I mean, you can put in ticket inflation, which is a big part of it, but it's fascinating. So stay tuned for our Film Explosion 1985, where we go back in time to 1985.
You want a fun little teaser?
I do.
Okay. Do you know who won worst picture at the Razzie Awards for 1985?
Yeah, let me hear it.
Rambo: First Blood Part 2. But worst director was Sylvester Stallone for Rocky 4.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? So weird.
Interesting. So is Rambo 2 going to be on any of our lists?
Who knows?
There's a lot of people that are killed in that movie, so
yeah,
there's a good chance.
That's Rambo 3, First Blood 3, Rambo 2. So this is the third one. That's not First Blood. Oh, no.
No, it's the second one, right?
Wait.
It's Rambo 2, The First Blood.
You're right.
Yeah.
I totally read that wrong. Wait, who the fuck thinks that that's the worst movie of the year? Hell no.
The Razzies creating controversy.
Oh, yeah, that's not okay.
So, yeah, if you have any favorite films from 1985, please send them in. We will read them on the podcast as well. So I thought that'd be fun. because we haven't done it in a while, and there's lots of fun movies we can talk about.
Those are always cool.
Now, are we going to have a 3-way tie for the number one movie of the year? Could be.
Oh, it could be.
Because that movie is so good.
It could be, yeah.
And I watched that movie recently, like a few months ago, and yeah, it's still really good.
I'm going to make it Rambo First Blood Part 2 now.
Sweet. Just to spit in the Razzies faces.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's start the show, James. What do you want to start with?
News.
Cool.
It's real news. Did you see that trailer for Avengers?
I did. What I think is interesting is Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are villains.
Well, yeah, that looks pretty good. And that shot when they're all jumping out of the truck in the snow, and like I've even seen it like freeze framed. It looks like a panel from a comic.
Yeah,
like to have all your heroes and like the Hulk right in front in the foreground of the panel, and like it's so awesome. And then that quick little piece of the Vision right there at the end. He looks really good. And I
love too that there's a little line where Tony Stark says, "I wanted to make the world better, and I made it worse."
Mm-hmm.
And it's so awesome because that's a cool way to have the hero's guilt. Is you wanted to stop being the hero, so you made something else that's worse than anything you could possibly throw at you.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't know is Ultron's one of the strongest villains in the Marvel universe.
Right. It was funny. There was a neat little interview with.
You want to hand me a microphone so I can give it to Kelly?
Oh yeah.
I think he wants one.
There was a neat little interview with Joss Whedon where he was explaining, because people have talked a lot about how, you've got these extra villains and why introduce them, and he was saying, well, the truth is you can't have Ultron talk to himself. You need someone for him to talk to. So it made me feel a lot better that it does seem like there's a lot of stuff in the movie, but he understands and has a good reason for adding those extra villains, for adding, I'm excited to see what the Vision is there for.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen anything about it. I don't know. He might be he's only there for like a short little thing, but I'm expecting there's not going to be like a huge introduction of that character.
No, and that's what works too. Is what changes about it too is it's Tony Stark is asking for help from the Avengers, so you don't have to set up why are they getting together.
Right.
You know that Tony Stark needs help.
Yeah.
So you're establishing it right away.
Mm-hmm.
And so the new Avengers trailer. Every time I see something new from that movie, I get really excited.
Oh, it looks so good, man. I'm pretty excited about that. Shoot. Sorry, I just lost track of where I was. Spider-Man. Let's talk a little bit about Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been a couple of things. One, we've got Drew Goddard coming on to direct, and is he also writing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then there's also just a little bit of rumors because the Russo brothers have signed over with Sony as well. And so it might be that they're also going to help out on, crafting and making that movie tie-in.
Wise.
Yeah. And especially considering that if he's going to show up in their... Or no, are they still doing Civil War?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're doing Civil War and then they're doing Avengers 3.
Yep.
So if that's all going to tie together, then that makes a lot of sense. Like to have those guys work with Drew Goddard and help develop a completely new Spider-Man that's going to tie with that film really tightly, and with the rest of the Marvel universe.
And it makes sense too because Kevin Feige, he's so busy producing so much other things.
Yeah.
He's basically saying, okay, these guys are my architects for the next two really big Marvel movies. So they're going to set up the groundwork and put it forward. And it's interesting reading his what they're planning on doing is the Sinister Six might still be part of that Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And there's also going around on Screen Rant and I think Latino Review that they're trying to get Iron Man to help Spider-Man defeat the Sinister Six, which I would be totally down for. Because I would love to see Iron Man develop the Iron Spidey suit for Spider-Man to fight the Sinister Six.
That would be really, really cool.
Because it's, you can say, 6 villains, that's too much. But if you have Spider-Man team up with somebody, and then you wouldn't even have to call it, they're saying, Spectacular Spider-Man's the name, which sounds what it should be.
Sure.
But what if they change it to Marvel Team Up? And it was Spider-Man with another Marvel character fighting constantly.
Oh, yeah. So it was just every time that they do a new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, it'd be like Spider-Man and Human Torch.
Okay.
Spider-Man and Black Widow.
Now, you started with the wrong one because I don't... we're not going to get a crossover with Human Torch anytime soon, I don't think.
No.
But that one's Fox, but still. I I don't. Yeah, and I don't want that one. It was cool in Ultimate Spider-Man that like when they're roommates, that part's cool, but.
But yeah, I think it'd be interesting if they changed it to Marvel Team Up, and it was
That'd be neat.
That'd be literally Spider-Man teaming up with the Hulk.
Well, but the problem is that like that's exciting for like comic book fans.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you need the movie to say Spider-Man on it.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But Marvel Team Up featuring Spider-Man. I have the comics right there. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
But I do like that Drew Goddard's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
His obviously he wrote and directed Cabin in the Woods
with Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
I'm sure that Joss Whedon now
Dude,
is going to have a little bit of say in the
screenwriters
Spider-Man
were
movie.
Drew Goddard and Joss Whedon, I would cry.
Right?
I would freaking
Right.
cry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Directed by Sam Raimi, and then all like you
my
can
head
just
would
die.
explode.
You can
My
just
head
die
would
at that
explode.
point.
But
Right.
it's cool that you can actually see the Marvel influence in these, press releases and things like that.
Yes, you can.
And, they're not going to do an origin, which they don't need.
Right.
Me and you have been saying it. Just drop them in. Just drop them in.
You know who can just show up in the next in that Captain America movie? Spider-Man. Because you know who everybody knows who he is? Spider-Man.
Yeah. Everybody knows who Spider-Man is.
Yeah. And if they don't, they're not going to need to. Tell a story that's really impactful and doesn't necessarily tie back into why he became Spider-Man.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Cool.
That'd be fun.
Harrison Ford crashed his plane.
He did. But hey, whoa. Did he crash a plane or land the plane? I'm saying he landed the plane.
Yes, I believe that he carefully navigated a damaged plane to the ground.
Yeah, because it's awesome. I was watching the news on it. Well, not for him.
Yeah.
But he took off and he did his call signs like coming back, engine failure. And so he couldn't make it back, so he landed it on the golf course like a boss.
Right.
And he broke his ankle and had facial lacerations, but he still got out of the jet.
I'd like to know if it's the same ankle that he broke on set, because then it would just be like, well, it probably hadn't healed all the way yet. Like he's such a badass that he was able to crash/land a plane, and the only thing he broke was the ankle that wasn't actually like healed. Like that would be really cool. Yeah, I mean it's good. It's good that he's fine. He is like 72 years old, so it's amazing.
Yeah,
honestly.
Dude, how freaking Han Solo is that?
Right?
Dude, because the thing is as he avoided all the houses, landed on a fucking golf course, and
in a cool ass plane,
in a cool World War II plane.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the one from Last Crusade, right?
Yeah,
because it's got the two seats. It just doesn't have the turret on the back.
That's
like,
awesome.
Oh yeah, no,
What
it's
a
a
fucking
really cool.
Han's indie moment.
Somebody needs to make a movie about that.
Yeah,
like they should just film it. They just go get Harrison Ford, film it next week. Be like it'd be like Castaway, but in a plane with Harrison Ford. Just quiet. Hour
I would
long.
pay for that.
Yeah.
I miss a Harrison Ford movie because I watched Air Force One a couple weeks ago, and like, dude.
Yeah. At this point, I would watch Firewall too. And Firewall's not good, but I want more Harrison Ford.
Yeah. So speedy recovery, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah, and way to be a Banff. Seriously.
Yeah. Cool. What else we got? It's kind of slow week.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it.
The cool news is Harrison Ford is okay and can freaking land a plane on a golf course when the engines fail.
Right.
And not only any plane, World War II Spitfire.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's so awesome.
So cool. Yeah. No, I mean that's pretty much it.
Cool.
What do you want to do? You want to do stats?
Yeah, let's do the stats.
Okay.
This is the box office stats.
All right. So number one, not a huge surprise, was Focus.
Mm-hmm.
You put Will Smith in a movie, it's going to be at the top.
Yep.
Now I'm not sure. Actually, I haven't even looked to see what the budget on it is. $50 million, and it's made 27.
They'll make its money back.
So yeah, it'll be fine.
It's a different movie for him, and I think I don't think it was a bad movie. It was okay.
Oh yeah,
but it's like I said in the review last week, he's good in it.
Yeah. It's funny that 50 Shades of Grey has dropped all the way to number 4.
Oh yeah, because it's shit.
Which means it's getting beat out by the SpongeBob movie right now. And then The Kingsman is holding on real strong at number 2. I'm amazed that people are enjoying that movie as much as they are.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised too. I loved it, but
yeah, it's just not for everyone.
Well, it's definitely not mainstream.
It's not what they pitch in the trailer. So
nope.
I'm very surprised. Because that was one that like my mom was disappointed by when she started hearing like, oh, it's not.
Did your parents go see that?
No. Because I saw it first.
Yeah, it's hard to recommend that to a mom.
Oh, yeah, no, my mom.
And
no.
hey, my mom's like pretty liberal. But I remember watching. This is when I knew I had to be careful what movies I recommend to my mom. I got the 40-Year-Old Virgin for Christmas when it came out, and she said, "Oh, let's watch." I said, "Okay," and I started watching it. And every time they would say something, she said, "That's gross. That's gross." So now I'm really, really careful with what I recommend to my mother.
Yeah. Oh no! Like the last shot of the Kingsman would be enough to make her hate that movie. Like that joke is enough for her to just walk away and be like, "Oh, that was just the worst. That was just horrible." So, anyway,
yeah, and not that's surprising. So go Will Smith, go Margot Robbie,
go Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Oh, Jared Leto's going crazy, bleach blonde, and he shaved his eyebrows off.
Yeah. Oh man,
is the Joker going to be blonde?
I don't know. I don't care.
Or is it easier to dye it green once it's blonde?
Probably. Yeah,
it's going to be awesome. I hope they do Mad Love and then bring in the Suicide Squad because that'd be sweet.
Yes. Dude, even if they just did Assault on Arkham, like I don't know why they don't. Like just make
that's one of my favorite cartoon movies that's come out in a long time.
Yeah,
is Assault on Arkham.
It is so good.
It was,
and I mean the plot there is. I mean, you look at the casting; that's what they're doing.
Yeah, know? I mean, it basically is straight up Arkham without or Batman. Who knows?
Yeah, we have no idea if Batman's going to be in it.
Affleck shows up in it.
Yeah.
I'd cry.
DVDs?
DVDs. Oh, we only see Blu-rays here.
Yeah, whatever.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
It's a quiet week, but we make up for it in quality.
Yeah.
Because the only real Blu-ray release this week is the fourth season of The Legend of Korra.
Is that the last season?
Awesome. Yes. So that whole show is out and done, and I think I've got it pre-ordered. If not, I'll have to make sure that I do. There's a yearbook collection of John Hughes movies. It's got The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, and Weird Science. I think those have all been on Blu-ray before, but if not...
I have Breakfast Club on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
The only one I think...
I think I've seen 16 Candles on Blu-ray, but so Weird Science might not be. But either way, if you don't have them, that's a good opportunity to get them.
I might pick up Weird Science if they have it solo because it has Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, okay.
He plays the bully in it.
And then I don't think this is... Anyway, there's a movie called Firepower with Sophia Loren and James Coburn and O.J. Simpson. It's just a cool, badass, like one of those old like James Bond knockoffs, like in like Flint. That looks pretty neat. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this week. There's really not.
Yeah, actually, I forgot you brought up OJ. I forgot to mention I watched The Naked Gun on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah,
a few weeks ago, and I listened to it with a commentary, and they make fun of OJ the whole time. So if you want to listen to a fun commentary, listen to the Blu-ray version of The Naked Gun. It's awesome.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Because when he shows up, like, there's the murderer. It's awesome. Maybe not for Nicole Brown Simpson, but for everybody else.
Cool.
Yo, son, what you been watching this week?
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
What'd you watch this week, James?
Well, not a whole lot, but I'm rewatching House of Cards right now. I had never quite finished the first season of that show, so I was like, you know what? The third season just came out, and everybody loves it, and I really liked it. I just didn't, for some reason, I fell off. So I'm rewatching that, and it's great. It really is. I'm still in the part that I have seen before, but I'm still watching through it, being like, oh man, yeah, like these characters are really cool, and the tension's really great. Kevin Spacey is, of course, fantastic.
Yeah.
But then, the only really new thing that I watched this week was a movie called Starred Up, which is a little British movie from a couple years ago, 2013. And basically it follows this... It starts off with this kid, Eric, who... He's put into jail, and you don't really... At first, he doesn't talk for the first, 10, 15 minutes of the movie. You're just watching him, get brought into jail, get sort of settled in. And what you learn over time is that he was some kind of, drug dealing sort of hustler, but fairly small time out in the world. And he gets sort of sucked into this sort of rivalry between a couple of... gangs inside of the jail, and then at the same time, he's got this really short fuse, gets into a lot of fights really quickly, almost beats a guy to death in the first 20 minutes or so, basically just for walking into his cell, just because he's trying to protect himself. and so he ends up getting on the short list of like people that are, because the like people running the prison are kind of like, okay, this guy doesn't get a lot of chances here. And there's a guy who is running like this class where he's trying to rehabilitate people there, and so he brings that guy in and is trying to get him to just handle his anger better, and while at the same time he's trying to stay safe between all of these gangs. And then sort of the kicker is that what you find out is that his dad is also in that prison, and so he and his dad have to struggle with not having a very good relationship, but and also him trying to like prove himself, and then also them both stay alive. And so it's good, it's interesting. It's on Netflix Prime or Amazon Prime.
You want to watch it?
There was a friend of mine at work who was like, "Oh, you should see this movie." It's on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it for free if you have Prime. And I would say it's worth checking out. I didn't love it, and honestly, it's really unfortunate to have to say it this way, but the truth is that the accents in the movie are so thick, and just the way they talk is kind of difficult to follow at times. Because there are things where, especially some of the gang, because it's not just that they are like British, it's also that they are like British gangsters. So honestly, it's kind of like
slang.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Chappie, where sometimes they'll say things and you don't really know what they just said, and so it really takes away from my ability to understand some of the relationships between the other inmates. Like I could follow what was going on with him fairly well, but some of the dynamics, especially there's some really cool like argumentative scenes in this classroom when they're trying to sort of work through their anger issues, that I just didn't quite understand. Like, okay, why? Like clearly, like this guy pissed off this guy, but I can't figure out quite why, because they say something and I'm not sure what that means. Which was too bad. But it's a cool movie. It's not like your most traditional like A to B to C movie. But it's interesting and worth checking out if you're ever just flipping around on Amazon and want a drama, because it is. It's not, it is closer to, I think, like a Dangerous Minds, only Dangerous Minds where every now and then like people beat the shit out of each other. And the action scenes are pretty cool. Like there's one scene right after he almost beats that guy to death right at the beginning. He runs the guy to the clinic, and then they're blowing whistles like because they want to arrest this guy and be like, what did you do? And he knows he's going to be in trouble, so he runs back to his cell and he like gets some stuff that like gets a table leg and like it just gets whatever weapon he can get. And there's a pretty awesome scene where like they rush in and he's like flipping around these guys and hitting them with whatever he can get a hold of, and like it's the violence in the movie is actually really good. It's just I don't know, it was not it's not necessarily something that's going to stick with me or that I'm ever going to probably watch again. But it was cool. It's a neat little.
It's a good like run through one time, and
yeah. It's a neat little.
Sometimes
like,
movies like that, you can see why people really like them, though.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally. So yeah, Startup, and it's STARRED, which is like, again. So this is a thing that I never quite understood, but it's some kind of slang term meaning that like he's on the short like that the guy's running the jail. He's got a lot of checks against him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like that's sort of what I think it means.
Huh.
But it's stuff like that where, it's just this term that I'm like, I don't really know what it means. But and then when
even movies like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, it takes me a few minutes to get into them because, what are you going to do?
Right. But at least that one is pretty straightforward about what the plot is. This one, because it really relies on the characters and the interactions between those characters, it does make it really hard for me to follow, which isn't a problem with the movie.
Yeah.
It's just maybe my brain. I don't know.
English people, telling you.
English people. Anyway, what'd you see
Cool.
this week?
So I'll touch things I've already seen before, then I'll say new things. I'll give you my review of Hannibal, the second season, and when I'm done watching it.
Yeah.
I watched 3 episodes.
Yeah.
To this day, I still love the intro, the title. I don't know what you call it, the title.
With the CG blood that makes the faces.
And the music's really cool.
Yeah. The music in general in that show is awesome.
And I will say that it's probably maybe the best looking show on Blu-ray.
Ooh.
Like how well it looks and how clean and beautiful everything is realized in it. I think The Walking Dead's really close to it, but I think the colors in Hannibal, I'm sure it has a lot to do with the cinematography, but and Hannibal isn't dealing with grungy stuff, but
true. Everything is very clean. In that
yeah,
show.
I guess and it looks really sharp. I mean,
Yeah.
every time I watch that movie, that show, I'm like, wow, this looks amazing on Blu-ray. And every time I start a new episode, so that's how impressive it is. There's some there's always some goofy scenes like when they're inside the labs or something, but I still don't get over how great it looks.
Yeah, it's those scenes, for whatever reason, they always still kind of feel like CSI.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
If I understand why they're in the show, because when you do network TV, sometimes you do have to have exposition scenes. I wish they weren't in it though.
Oh yeah, for a show that's really like a psychological thriller,
Yeah.
to suddenly have to solve mysteries is kind of clunky at times.
Yeah, because I mean, from the first season, I would give anything to just sit and I'd watch a 45-minute show of Hannibal and Will just talking to each other,
Right.
in a session. I'm not,
Yeah.
or even Gillian Anderson's character in
Yes.
Hannibal just talk to each other. I would sit there and watch the whole thing because those actors are so good.
Yeah.
But so I'll let you know my feelings about the whole second season, hopefully by next week.
Cool.
The good thing is it's 10 episodes. I'm almost halfway through it already.
Yeah.
And I watched them last night. So
Man, it's
the thing that kills me about that is I started it at 10. It's like, oh, I'll watch one episode. And then I watched 2. I'm like, I'll watch one more.
Yeah.
And it was like almost 1:30. I'm like, fuck.
it's
Should I watch one more?
it's a fun so season 3 they've already cast the Tooth Fairy, which is the villain from Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Because he said when he started it that basically Silence of the Lambs would in the timeline be season 4. So we're going through Red Dragon now, which means that they're telling in season 2. They tell one of the most gruesome stories that Hannibal has. I was telling somebody at work, actually the guy who recommended Startup, I was talking to him about it, and man, there's things in that season that, again, I can't believe they do on television, especially network television.
I can't believe it's network, actually.
Right? Oh, yeah.
If it's on AMC, I could see it, but
True.
network.
But yeah.
So I also rewatched From Dusk Till Dawn.
The original or
Yes.
the remake? Oh, okay, cool. Oh, Kellen, how you doing, buddy?
And the original is good. I still really enjoy the film.
yeah.
The thing that bothered me is not the movie, but I was at Tradesmart and they had the complete collection for like $10 on Blu-ray.
Okay.
And I was like, fuck it, I'll get them all. I don't think I've seen the third. I know I've seen the second one because Bruce Campbell's in it.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about it. I'm like, I don't think I've seen the third one. But I was like, there's 3 movies and then it has the documentary that Quentin Tarantino made about the first one called Full Tilt Boogie. I was like, $10, who cares? So I get home and it's only on one Blu-ray. I'm like, fuck. So it means it's going to be compressed hardcore.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever. I mean, it was $10. So I put in the first one and it starts off and it looks really good. I'm like, oh, sweet. But then it goes inside and it's just above DVD quality. I was like, oh, man. So it fluctuates the video on it, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks amazing and other times it's horrible.
Yeah, it's just like they didn't actually spend that much time doing like a new conversion of the original film.
Yeah. The movie's still fun. It's a really interesting movie because it starts one way and then the vampire stuff is kind of an afterthought where it starts as 2 brothers running from the law.
Right.
But what I really forgot is how great Clooney's performance is in that. And there's a part in it. It's pretty much at the beginning. They have this one teacher or bank teller who they kidnapped, and Seth is George Clooney's character leaves his brother, who's Quentin Tarantino, alone with her, and he comes back and he's raped and murdered this lady, and he's going, "What is wrong with you? Is it something I did?" And it's this great scene where he doesn't understand why his brother's a psycho, and it's so much fun. And then there's lots of mayhem and vampire carnage, and it's a really schizophrenic movie, but it's still fun. I still really enjoy the film.
Cool.
The second movie I watched, which I haven't seen in years, and for some reason, I told you this before we started, that I couldn't focus this week for some reason on movies.
Yeah.
But I was just flipping through my on-demand on Xfinity, and Beverly Hills Ninja was one of them. And I haven't seen it in years, and it's an old Chris Farley. I think is the last movie he made before second to last, because Almost Heroes came out after it.
Oh yeah.
This came out in the January in the year he died, so he was still alive when this came out. And I watch it. It's still a goofy movie, and it's stupid, but he's so good at being who he is that the movie's still funny. And it doesn't make any sense. There's a part where a TV reporter says, ninjas are usually from Japan. No. and just to see him in it, and Chris Rock is in it trying to be his tutelage, and Chris Farley's obviously an idiot ninja.
Yeah.
And he's just really good at physical comedy. And it's watching it's fun, but it's also kind of depressing because you realize that he's not in anything else. But it was fun. It's stupid but harmless, and it's I could watch it over and over. It's not like a great movie.
Right. It's something you can just throw in.
Yeah, and you don't really have to pay attention to it, but there's a part where he impersonates this printing guy to make money, and his name's Chet something, and the way Farley acts is just balls to the wall and over the top, and it's freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
So, so that was fun. I watched a couple other things that I've never watched before. I finished watching Agent Carter, which is really good.
Oh man, I've still got like 2
The
more
last
episodes.
3 episodes are freaking amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
I really love that show, and I can't wait to own it on Blu-ray because it looks good. It has, you mentioned to it before, it does have this like 1940s kind of studio look to it, and I really love her outfit. I love like the silhouette of her in that blue trench coat with the red hat. I think it looks so cool.
Yeah. It's very like Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, very Carmen Sandiego. So it's something I really enjoyed watching that. I also watched Parks and Recreation for the first time. Never saw it. I was just trying to find stuff and I was bored. And it's pretty funny. It is a lot like The Office, the same kind of humor where there's not a lot of I'm going to laugh really out loud watching it, but there's lots of silly moments in it. And the last thing I watched, when I first saw the ads for the show, I thought it looked really stupid. But as I've been reading about it, it's really high on Entertainment Weekly's, like, you should watch the show. And it's called Fresh Off the Boat. And it's about this Asian family that relocates from Washington, D.C. To Florida.
Yeah.
And it stars the guy who plays Kim Jong-un in The Interview.
Oh, yeah.
But he's lost a lot of weight in it, so it's interesting. And it's a memoir based on this celebrity chef called Fresh Off the Boat. And before I thought it was just like a racist show.
It sounds like a horrible title for an Asian show.
Yeah, but it's based on a memoir from a celebrity chef. I forget the chef's name. And in it, the main character is this little boy, and he loves hip hop. And it takes place in the mid-'90s. So he's trying to get the kids at his school make fun of him because he wears nurse's shoes. And he points at the side. He's like, "What about Daryl over there? He doesn't have Air Jordans." And they say, "Well, he's black, so it's basically any shoe he wears is Jordans." And the kid shuts his locker. He says, "I hate this school."
What are nurses' shoes like?
They just like nondescript shoes.
Oh, okay.
And so he's like, "Man, if I got a hot chick, then they would respect me." So he starts listening to Old Dirty Bastard music, and he imagines himself in these music videos.
Yeah,
it's just really funny. It's a really funny show.
Neat.
And so he's trying to get this one.
Oh, kill it.
He's trying to get this one girl to like him, and they're at a Blockbuster, and she goes up to the thing to check out, and he's like, "Oh, and this kid got you Skittles." And the girl looks over at, I think his name's Eddie. She looks over at the little boy, and she says, "These are for me." He's like, "Yo, girl, taste the rainbow." It's a really funny show. People should really watch it. So yeah, that's what I watched this week. So Fresh Off the Boat was my favorite thing I watched it. Well,
favorite new thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, James, that I thought Brad edited the Bilbo Baggins song in there, but it was so good. But
Thank
it
you.
was you.
Yep.
You even added a scratched record.
Yeah.
Bilbo. And actually, as I was playing, it's starting to get into it. Right?
I specifically waited until like you got to hear through the chorus once, and I was like, all right, start fading this shit out. Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is actually kind of clever.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's a neat song.
I'm like, he's 3 feet tall. He is 3 feet tall. Because it does, man, I should watch The Hobbit.
It's good.
I know. The only thing that sucks, I have to wait till the extended edition comes out because I don't double dip on the Hobbits.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, shoot. I do.
I know.
Yeah.
That's all right.
But it's because I give the first one to my parents.
Yeah.
So it's like,
see, no one.
I don't waste it.
Would anybody like? I don't know. My family's weird, man. You think they would like The Hobbit and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know what kind of movies my family likes. Because, obviously I showed my mother the 40-Year-Old Virgin and she thought it was gross. So I don't have to do anymore.
Nothing makes sense.
Nothing makes sense. Cool. This is a comic book you should pick up at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Cool.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
Oh, dude, I was there yesterday or Thursday because Joe found out about the Star Wars comics, so he really wanted to read them.
Which ones?
He wanted to read them all, so he wanted, Star Wars, Vader, and Leia. And Leia came out this week, and so, I just email Andrew. The cool thing about Andrew is I just email him, and if he thinks I like a book, he just throws it in there.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, man, my friend wants Leia, so just want to throw 2 copies in. I mean, I didn't know if I wanted Leia, but it's a #1 issue. If I like it, I'll get it. If not, whatever.
Right.
So he said, he never responded because I said, if you have any Star Wars or Darth Vaders lying around, he wants them too. And so we went in, and he said, oh, dude, I'm totally sold out of Vader and Star Wars.
Yeah.
Vader 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, no problem. And he gave us the Leias. That's fine.
Right.
And then he says, you want to see what I got in today? I said, yeah, man. And he brings me over to his case. He got Amazing Spider-Man number 12 in, which is it's a really pivotal issue because in that issue, Spider-Man's really sick, and Dr. Octopus is causing havoc downtown, and he gets unmasked by Dr. Octopus. And in it, he's masked in front of Betty Brant and J. Jonah Jameson, and Spider-Man performs so poorly that everyone says, oh, Peter Parker's just being the hero because Spider-Man's too much of a coward to show up and face Dr. Octopus. What is he doing? He can get himself hurt. And so Doc Ock even thinks, oh, it's some kid. There's no way this is the real Spider-Man.
I kind of remember that, yeah.
It's a great story. And this book that he got in is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I just can't afford it right now. But the cool thing about Andrew is he says, well, you know what? I just wanted you to see it first because I'd rather have you have it than somebody else. And that's really sweet.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't afford it right now, but I should have put this online. Now people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to go get it.
Right?
Because
yeah, right.
the price he has for it is an amazing price.
Yeah.
He has it for $230.
Holy crap.
And the corners are still sharp.
Yeah.
And the only issues in it is the left spine has like a little bent part, like very minuscule. And on the inside, the pages are a little yellow. Mm-hmm. But it's probably the best copy of that book I've ever seen. And he only wants $230 for it. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Dude, that's worth way more than that. But that's what's cool about Andrew. So anytime you guys want to know, if you're looking for a hard-to-find book, go to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics first, because if he has it, he's going to charge you about $150, $200 less than anybody else if you want a book like that.
Yeah.
Because I actually got, 2 weeks ago, a book I've never seen for sale anywhere, and he said, hey, man, check this book out. It was the first appearance of Morbius, which is Amazing Spider-Man 101. $20.
Wow.
And I mean, it has some chips on it, but I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I don't think Morbius is that cool a character.
Did you get it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, cool.
$20.
Right, yeah.
But that's what I mean. That's like probably a $50, $60 book, $20.
Right.
And that's what's cool about Andrew. This week, too, I'm just going to remind people to make sure you pick up Batman Endgame. The new issue came out, and the Joker is starting to get it's the penultimate issue, so his plan's starting to come a little more to fruition. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I couldn't speak. And so he goes to the Batcave, and what's really cool how Scott Snyder's writing this right now is he jumps all over the place. He'll have like 3 or 4 pages, and he'll say, it's happening now, and then it'll say 3 hours ago, and it gives you a little more, and then it goes back to present, then it goes back a little more. It's a really interesting way to write.
Yeah.
And in it, the Joker gets into the Batcave because you find out in his previous arc, which is Death of the Family, that the Joker knows who Batman is, and he just doesn't care. But now he's pissed because at the end of the Death in the Family, he outsmarted the Joker. So now that the Joker's back, he's really pissed off, and he goes into the Batcave and chops Alfred's hand off. So you should definitely pick it up. And
wow.
It's a really interesting book. So yeah, it's basically his plan's coming to fruition, and Batman enlists the help of some of his biggest villains to help take down the Joker because the Joker's out of control. So in it, you have Killer Croc, Poison Ivy,
cool,
Clayface, Bane, Penguin, Scarecrow.
So I found out this week that my niece, who's almost 3 years old, really loves the 90s Batman show.
Really?
Yeah. The only ones, I think that her folks don't let her watch the Clayface ones because those ones are pretty scary.
That's a horror. That is a straight. That's my favorite. It's one of my favorite ones because it's scary.
Yeah.
I to this day, I still think the part at the end where he's in the TV room and all the different channels are and he can't control his face.
Yeah.
And he's like, help me. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way Batman can beat him. Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some that are pretty bad.
But yeah, apparently she's just really into scary stuff. Apparently, like some of the shows that she watched when she was really young, they had episodes about like, you know, scary being fun. So now, like when she watches like Frozen and the big abominable snowman monster comes up, like she sort of fake is scared, you know, like she watched it with my folks, and so when that would come up, she'd like, you know, sort of scream and run over to the couch and jump on it like you know, but she was clearly having fun with it.
Like, look at the scary thing on TV.
Yeah, and so with scary stuff, they've been watching through that. You know what else they also showed her recently? They showed her E.T.
Yeah, she think it was scary.
No, she liked it.
Yeah, because she's normal.
Yeah. It was funny though because my brother was saying like, well, you know, they watch a lot of movies, and this was one where I was like, you know, I really wanted to watch it with her. And so it was like, okay, we're either going to watch it now or else she's going to end up seeing it at some point. So, like, why don't we just go ahead and, you know, we'll all sit and watch it.
That's so cool because, honestly, one of the things I can't wait is to introduce my son to stuff I love.
Yeah.
I can't wait to sit down and watch Spider-Man with him.
Yeah.
Like, this is what Dad loves.
I know.
Or Pinocchio.
Yeah.
This is what Dad loves.
I need to get just a little bit older so that I can start showing her the stuff that I love. Like,
it's funny.
Who wants to come over to James's house and watch Buffy?
I know. I think about that stuff all the time. You know, when he's 5, 6, starting to kindergarten.
Yeah.
And his friends come over and they see my movies. Like, oh, can we watch Day of the Dead or something?
Yeah.
You know. But no, that's awesome. And that show's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely pick up Batman Endgame. I don't know if you can get the first 2 issues of it, but I know he has the last 3. Cool. But they're dwindling because I think people are starting to realize how important the story is. Because they really haven't hyped it very much. It's fascinating. And the covers, the new one's awesome. A Joker has made a throne of people that are dead, and he's smashing a bat in his hand, and there's like blood going out. It's pretty gruesome. It's a great cover. Definitely pick up the new Batman. Cool. And the next issue will be my last one I read until the Joker shows up again. So, unless, I don't know what other villain I'd want to read in Batman, because I really don't care about the other ones. Because Batman's not my guy.
Yeah.
I really don't care.
Spider-Man? Spider-Man ever fights Batman?
Well, I do have a Spider-Man and Batman book.
Yeah?
Drawn by Mark Bagley.
Yeah.
It's the Joker and Carnage. So take with that what you want. No. It's all right.
Suddenly less interested.
Yeah, I know. I always thought the Joker and the Green Goblin. That makes more sense to me. You know, because the Green Goblin gives Joker like toxin because he works for Oscorp.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
You know, with chemicals.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I could write
a Goblin version of Joker. That'd be cool.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
So make sure you say hi to Andrew. If you sign up for their hold slot, you get 20% off all the issues you get, and they bag and board them for you. So
awesome.
Win-win. And I got like 5 issues of Spider-Man Team Up when we mentioned earlier. They're all like $1, so I paid $5 for them.
Cool.
That's how in high demand those books are. I got one with Spider-Man and the Beast fighting some robot. I don't know. Looks silly, but sometimes they're
Spider-Man.
fun. Yep, sometimes they're fun. This week we went and saw Chappie. James, should people go see Chappie?
Man, this is another kind of rough one. 2 weeks in a row. I think that you should. I think it's a cool movie. I think it's got some really neat sci-fi ideas in it. If you're somebody who in the past has liked Neil Blomkamp's movies mostly because of the action, but always feels like the stories fall short, this is very much that, and unfortunately there's less action in this movie. And this is, for me, of the 3, the weakest one because I think it meanders more, but really gorgeous movie, some really awesome sequences in it, and some cool ideas that I think are worth checking out. And if you're going to see it, I think you need to see it on the big screen. So,
yeah, I'm torn on this one too. I'm actually not a big fan of this movie. I'm a fan of it when when Hugh Jackman shows up. The rest of the time, I did not like the gang he was with. They were driving me crazy. Dev Patel is okay. I mean, he's in it.
Yes.
But I was really fascinated with Hugh Jackman's character. I've read a lot of reviews, and some people thought he was a little too cartoonish. but I think he had really interesting motivations in it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a trailer. I don't know. I'm not with Jane. I think you can probably rent it and be okay. But here's a trailer.
The deployment of the planet's first robotic police units became the focus of the world in 2016.
Drop your weapons. You're under arrest.
Vincent Moore is a former soldier.
The problem with artificial intelligence is it's way too unpredictable.
The Scout's creator, Dion Wilson, sees a rich future.
What interests me is a machine that can think and feel.
I have a robot that is operated by a thinking human being.
We don't want this. It's expensive, it's big, and it's ugly.
The Scouts are a huge success. Stop worrying about these pet projects.
I think I've cracked it. This is a new kind of life form, a new step in evolution. You are Crappie.
Crappie.
It's like a child. It has to learn.
What's that? Chappie's book?
Yeah, it's yours.
Chappie's got stories. Chappie's got a book.
Anything you want to do in your life, you can do. Write poetry, have original ideas.
Chappie wants to paint.
What in the name of the Lord?
Your little robot's a big problem for me.
A thinking robot could be the end of mankind. Destroy that robot. Burn it to ash.
Something of great danger headed our way now.
I don't want to die. I want to live.
If you want to survive, Chappie, you must fight.
Mayhem downtown as police have begun shutting down.
You hurt my people! You think you're real?
We don't get away with this. He's special!
I am consciousness. I am alive. I am Chappie.
I was a little disappointed in the movie.
I was too.
Because I really do like his other two. Like, I love District 9. I think Elysium's good.
Mm-hmm.
Even what he said earlier, I rewatched Elysium a few months ago, and I still think it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, because even with Elysium, if the story is a little bit like cliche, like it feels like something you've sort of seen before, and you kind of can tell where it's going to go before it goes there. At least it's pretty tight, you know.
Yeah.
You know what your motivation is, you know where you're going, you know who your villains are, and you know why.
In this film too, though, it seemed like he was trying to recapture the District 9 feel, because he opened again with making it real and it's really happening, and had like news broadcasts of stuff going on. And I think the idea is interesting. It's a lot like RoboCop, where you have an automated robots basically taking the place of the police force to help assist them and make the world safer. And of course, there's going to be some issues with it. And then, again, my biggest issue was in it, Chappie is actually number 22, and he's always getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go out on this mission, and they meet this gang of drug dealers, and they're played by real-life Australian pop stars who are really obnoxious. Ninja and...
Can't remember her name.
Yeah, some weird name. And they're not good actors. So you're forced to stick with these people through pretty much the duration of the film. And...
Which, that's the part that I struggle with, because I feel like the ideas of the movie, the stuff that it's trying to do, are actually really cool.
Mm-hmm, me too.
It's too much short circuit. Yeah. The truth is, those characters should have been in the movie for 20 minutes.
I agree.
The story should have been that he gets kidnapped, and then some kind of action sequence ends that where, like, him getting shot. So we're going to get into spoilers. Him getting shot, Dev Patel getting shot, and then ending up where he ends up should have happened way sooner.
I agree, because to me, I think it's a more interesting story, and this is why I mentioned Hugh Jackman's character, because Hugh Jackman's character in it is actually someone who's God-fearing, and he thinks that an artificial intelligence that can think is godless. And I think that's a really fascinating thing, and I think if you actually had the movie where Hugh Jackman was using his huge moose project to hunt down Dev Patel as consciousness in a robot and Chappie, I thought would have been awesome.
Yes.
Because he is putting where I think, I mean, I don't feel this way, but some people would say, yeah, I mean, you can't have an artificial intelligence think because that's not natural. So he's a villain, but not really, where his belief is that you can't have that.
And I think that once you figure out that Dev Patel can, like, that you can put a human brain into one of those robots, I think that would be a much more terrifying idea and something that would bother somebody.
Because, you know, you're dealing with someone with Chappie where his personality is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, too. The scenes where Chappie's learning, I freaking love.
Yes.
You know, where he's trying to figure out what everything is. You know, he's like, watch. But then, Dion, Dev Patel, he goes away for a little bit, and then you're stuck with these stupid characters.
Yeah.
Where,
and Chappie doesn't learn fast enough at that point.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been that there were some montages, and that part of it just sort of meanders in the explanations for why does Dev Patel leave?
Yeah.
Like, why not just stay there and be like, no, like, this is my robot, I'm going to stay here and teach it, like, this is my experiment.
Yeah, because there was weird scenes when he first left. They just let him run away, and I thought they were kidnapping him to do stuff, and it just doesn't make sense.
Right, exactly.
And
where if that had been a thing where you have that scene, you have him stay there and teach Chappie, and then they come to rescue that guy, and that's when like he gets shot, and those villains that Chappie absolutely should learn to love, but and then have those characters get killed, like that's the point where you're like, oh, okay, that's when that character should learn really quickly.
Yeah.
And then you've got Dev Patel in a robot, and you've got Chappie who learned very quickly and had sort of some poor influences, and so maybe that character is a little bit inconsistent.
And that's and I like that. I like that saying that, you know, sometimes where you're brought up determines who you are. And, you know, there is that ninja I couldn't stand through the movie, but I did like him in one scene. I like the scene where Chappie sees the dead dog, and he says, you can either be that dog, and he points to another dog that's like eating like raw meat, or you can be that dog. I love those moments in it. And then, I mean, even the scenes where Chappie's stealing cars and stuff, I liked.
Yeah.
But I'm still more fascinated by Hugh Jackman's character in it. I mean, I like the part where he goes to Dion's desk and he puts a gun to his face and he says, I know what you did, mate. I know what you did.
Right.
And they put, it's fake. It's fake. It's, you know, it's empty. I would bring a loaded gun to an office. And it's just an interesting character. But he's only in the movie, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Because, you know, too, when he picks up Chappie and he's chopping off his arm and Chappie has to learn that not everybody's a good person, I think is really fascinating.
Yeah.
But they didn't have enough of those moments for me.
Yeah.
It just didn't have enough of it. And yeah.
And it doesn't move quick enough.
No. You're right. They should have got to that scene where Hugh Jackman's moose shows up and starts mowing people down halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
And then have him hunt down Chappie and Maker.
Yeah.
And
have those two characters actually like learn and have their own experience, very much like we did in District 9.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah, it means that you're retreading the same ground of a story you've sort of told before, but I don't care. At least then the movie would work a little bit better.
Yeah, but it's still more fascinating because, like I said, you have the character that already thinks these are godless creatures, and so that's motivation for him to hunt them down. And because, you know, I did like that, you know, Hugh Jackman was turning them all off, and he was so driven by that my idea is better. I think that's a cool idea.
And especially, like, there you had the groundwork for some really awesome Neil Blomkamp gruesome violence, where all of a sudden there are these riots, and if you then release some of those robots or like more mooses onto those riots to try and quell those riots, then you get the kind of like what my mom calls body goop that I expect from a Neil Blomkamp movie.
Even, I mean, it's actually, I think it's kind of scary when Hugh Jackman is like, haha, is that the best you got? And he rips that dude in half.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Dude who was my favorite of the...
Yeah.
Because I didn't mind the gangsters as much as you did, but that guy, America, was my favorite of the three.
Exactly. But then I was like, oh, shit. That's kind of scary. I mean, a guy who has that much power and then...
It just doesn't care.
It doesn't,
is willing to just rip a dude in half.
For his own personal gain, I think that's a scary villain.
Yeah.
Because in his mind, he's not bad. I mean, he's saying, oh, my idea is better because I'm controlling it. But if the person controlling it is more scary than artificial intelligence, then, yeah, it's pretty scary. Yeah, I mean, the movie looks great. I Charlotte Copley as
Chappie
is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the animation of that character, the way that they make that character feel like a real sort of being.
Yeah,
like they personalize it in a certain way.
Yeah, because I like
really
that
effective.
I like how he's confused on what he needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Does he need to be, a gangster, or does he need to, be smarter the way that his maker wants to see him?
Right. And the fact that they're able to make you kind of feel like you're understanding that character, even though there's actually very little movement in his face.
Yeah,
it's effective. It's
cool. It makes sense to me. I mean, it makes sense to me that he makes inconsistent decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't know. And I couldn't stand that girl. I couldn't stand in it. She had some moments that I really liked, but then you just have to. And it was weird because they were playing their music in the background too.
Yeah,
that is bizarre.
Yeah,
I just think
I kind of like those
choices.
Characters, especially because like they wear T-shirts with their faces on them all the time, and
But here's the thing: it reminded me of Short Circuit meets Mad Max.
Yeah,
that's what it
totally.
felt like to me because the gangs are way out of place.
But I like both those movies more.
Yeah, well, yeah. I saw Short Circuit recently. I'm not a big fan of it anymore, but
I loved it as a kid.
I liked it as a kid.
Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Yeah, that movie is racist as fuck.
It is. So I was a little disappointed in this movie. I really was.
I was totally disappointed, and it will.
I really like the film. I really like the filmmaker a lot.
Yeah, it will probably at the end of the year still be, if not but maybe one of the most disappointing movies for me, because it's not like I went in with these huge expectations. It's just disappointing because you look at how like the pedigree that's there and how close to being great it is.
I think those movies are the most frustrating for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is where I see the potential in the movie,
right,
and it's just like meh.
Yeah.
It collapses on its own weight.
Yeah,
it is interesting.
It's just not tight enough. Like that script needed another I
think another run through by a different writer,
probably.
But the thing is he's earned the right to make movies he wants. Because
absolutely.
I was reading too that movie only cost $50 million to make.
Wow.
So he'll make it back overseas, and he'll probably make it back here. But
the movie will do fine. Yeah,
but
I don't want. I think Neil Blomkamp is really talented,
mm-hmm.
and I don't want. I want him to have a career like a Christopher Nolan, where even if we look back and there are movies that I don't like, other people like.
Mm-hmm.
So like Christopher Nolan, I really don't like Insomnia, but everybody tells me I'm wrong. But at least I don't look back at it and go like, oh well, that movie was a mistake.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like this movie's not horrible.
No,
but it's tough. It's tough for me, and and too, Sigourney Weaver's kind of wasted in it. Where I kind of hoped that she was going to be like that cutthroat. CEO person, but she really wasn't.
She doesn't even have a payoff in the movie. Like she never really does anything at all.
She has a drink at one point,
and there are a couple of really interesting, moments where they are having these existential questions that I think are really cool. There's a scene when Chappie gets mad at Dev Patel's character and is like, why did you make me this way? And how come if you're my maker, like, why did you make me broken?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you make me so I have to die? Like, that's a really great, awesome question. That's exactly the kind of thing that a movie like this should wrestle with.
Yeah, but then it it glazes over it.
Right.
It doesn't follow up.
It has the question and then it doesn't, in fact, the beautiful story you could have told by having half the movie be both of them in the same situation could be really cool. I mean, you had the making of like a Blade Runner style ending where all of a sudden you've got one robot who has 24 hours to live and one robot who's going to live forever, and how do those two wrestle with like what's fair?
And see, that's the thing is Blade Runner gets you into that world and it's way better developed, and I mean that's kind of unfair because Blade Runner is a classic. But I'm just saying.
Oh no, totally.
That
but if you're dealing with very similar issues,
you're right. And so
I mean, they're both movies about they're sort of both movies about meeting your maker. Only in this case, like he's not seeking out his maker.
He's trying to find a purpose,
right?
And I don't know.
Yeah, it's too bad.
It is. It's kind of like I said. It kind of makes me sad.
Yeah, and the action scenes are pretty good. They're not, but they're not. They're not Elysium. Like Elysium has this epic scale to it that this one, like the big action scene, is just in a building. So, cool.
Next week is Cinderella and something else.
Cinderella and Run All Night, I believe.
Oh yeah, Run All Night. I think I'm going to see both of them. So,
Oh yeah.
On Friday, I might spend all day at the Alamo.
I'm going to see whichever one I feel like seeing on Friday. Then I'm not sure because right now I could go either way.
Yeah, Cinderella's getting good reviews.
Okay.
I
no, because I'm
I know how much
going
you
to
love
see
Kenneth
Cinderella.
Branagh.
Yeah, Kenneth Branagh. That is the kicker. Is that even if that movie is not as good as I want it to be?
It's 94% right now on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
That's pretty high for a Disney retelling of a children's movie.
Yeah,
because Maleficent I think was like 30%.
It's not a musical, right? It's just
no. I don't think so. But then again, they didn't sell Frozen as a musical either. So
true. And not that I would be. It's fine if it is, but plus it's got actresses from Downton Abbey in it,
and Game of Thrones,
man, and Downton Abbey,
and Game of Thrones,
and Downton Abbey.
They have the Stark guy who was killed at the Red Wedding. Is
spoilers.
Prince Charming.
Yeah, and Rose from Downton Abbey, who's awesome. She's the feisty young one.
So she has 2 cups of tea.
No, she goes into London and sleeps with black guys.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude, that show's
wow.
Edgy.
That's on PBS.
WB could learn a thing or two about being edgy from Downton Abbey.
So yeah, I think I'll probably see Run All Night. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've been having fun watching Liam Neeson.
Dude, I want to see it. I really want to see it. That was my original idea for the 20th, was that we'd see Cinderella and then see Run All Night the next week. But
I overruled you. We're doing 1985 film Explosion.
No, I'm excited about that. Cool.
Yeah. So until next week, may all your dreams come true.
Bye.
Bye. Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us even, realnerds@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Hey, stream us on Stitcher. You want to call us? 720-6nerds5. And download us on iTunes. Just search Real Nerds. Thank you, Joe Kempter, for the wonderful voiceover. And also Spark Mandrill for the wonderful late-night jazz smooth sounds of movies. You can find them on SoundCloud. This has been a Nebulous Visions production.
Whenever you are ready. And then, as you know, if there are any times where we need to stop or anything like that, just...
Oh, I'm sure he'll be okay. I think Laura should be home soon.
And whatever.
Yeah. Such is life, right?
People aren't going to give a shit if you can hear Kellen in the background be all squirrely.
They better not care.
It's not as bad as having a cat running around jingling like in the early episodes.
So this is hey Kellen, what do you feel about the new Spider-Man movie?
He wants to eat it. He wants to put it in his mouth.
No, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Peter Parker, buddy, but if you want Miles Morales, that's okay too. So that's what he felt. He didn't know if he wanted Miles Morales or Peter Parker. But he says it doesn't matter what color Spider-Man's skin is as long as the character is right.
I think that's fair. He's learning quickly.
Yes.
Oh.
So, yeah, back to Real Nerds Podcast. After a great editorial by my son at 6 months old.